What's going on? What's going on, YouTube? I do not have to give you an intro. If you watch the intro, then you know exactly what this is. Before I introduce my special guest, yeah, I'm a little professional. I got, cue cards and things like that. DEFINE GHETTO is a fashionable streetwear brand that will make you understand the value of the ghetto. Not only is he the founder, the creator, the graphic artist, the creative director, he is everything. He's 21 years old. He's an entrepreneur. And he's going to speak directly on just the mental capacity and what it takes to really, really strive and do something like this at a young age. So without further ado, welcome my guest, Kevin Alejo, to the room.
What's up? Thank you for having me.
Show off the piece right there. Throw the hood on. Let them see what's going on. Let them see what's going on.
It's my definition of the ghetto, the most misunderstood place in the world. And I have Mr. Smiley here. Everybody liked it. But I'll explain that later.
By the time this drops, it would already be out. But July 3rd, right?
Tomorrow, yeah.
July 3rd is the launch for this right here. He also has it in black. Also has it in white. I had to, cop the white one. Super dope, man. We're gonna jump straight into it. This guy, let me put this down for a second, man. I knew Kev for, I want to say, close to a year now.
2018 too.
Oh,
time
yeah,
flies.
In 2020. Wow. I remember him showing me a design that had, if I'm not mistaken, it was DEFINE GHETTO, and within it was buildings, right?
Yeah, the three pyramids. The main the first one that I started off with, yeah.
First one I saw, and damn, that was 2018.
18, yeah.
Fast forward 2020, we are now on, this is the number of what?
After the relaunch, this is probably the 4th, 5th drop.
The 4th, 5th drop. And you
Since
see it
September.
too, like I said, he also has white, also has black. But before we, dive into his actual, clothing line and everything he's doing with that, for those of you who do not know, the room, once again, is based on just the priority of having a healthy mind and everything that it really, takes to have that. When people think of mental health as always just a negative, whatever you want to say, a negative comment attached to a negative experience, negative thought process is just always negative. It's the reason that it's always set in threes: mind, body, and soul. The mind is healthy, the body is healthy, which means the soul will be healthy. So that's one of the narratives I want to push. That's one of the truths that I want to push. And that's also what I want to make a priority. Just the thought process in having a healthy mind and to change the way people think about that.
Yeah.
Everything takes work. Even doing the show, setting up the camera, really sitting down with a guest and figuring out exactly what you're going to talk about to make sense with the show. It's all about doing the work. Everything is a process. Everything is a journey. So what I want to start off with, tell me a little bit about your childhood. You grow up with both of your parents?
Yeah, I grew up to this day. My parents are still together. So it was just in a sense, Spanish household. Both my parents, they spoke English, but I wasn't introduced to the English culture, within music and anything that I find trending now. Through them, I had to do it on my own because they were old school. My father's the real old school one. My mom, is more modern, but within the Spanish and Latin community. So when it came to clothes, it was not my parents that put me on, or the rap music that I listened to, hip hop culture. It was more regular Dominican household, strict as hell. And it was raising 3 boys, so you know how that goes.
Ooh, yeah. That's dope. You said they still together, right?
Yeah.
How long?
My dad came to the U.S. from DR at 9. So from 9 now, my dad's 45.
From 9 to 4. Woo!
And my dad's 45 right now.
From 9 to 45.
Now, yeah, my dad was 12. My mom was 9. And now my mom is 40, 43, 44. My dad is 45, 46. So the whole time, on and off. But then after having my older brother,
that's
so
21.
Right, huh?
I said that's old school love right there.
Yeah, you don't find that no more.
It's on and off for a million years. That's dope though, man. So you got 2 other brothers.
Yeah.
They raised 3 boys. You're into fashion, obviously. What would you say your other two brothers are into?
Into sports, the basic Dominican. I want to be the next A-Rod. So like my older brother, he's in college right now for baseball on a baseball scholarship. My little brother is in
Congrats.
Thank you. And my youngest brother is also in school for baseball, but he's in high school right now, and he also played basketball. So they're the athletic ones. I was just the one that was a little different, and it's true when they say it skip genes, because that's what happened.
Got you. Damn. So that you think? Well, not think. Would you say that plays a big part into the foundation that you have now? Because 3 boys, 1 into fashion, 2 athletic, 2 into sports. I would assume that you come from hardworking parents.
Yeah,
for y'all to kind of receive that. So how would you explain the foundation, so to speak,
of the brand?
To just your personal foundation, and how does it cross over to how you move day to day within your business?
Yeah. So for me, the reality was my father played baseball his whole life. So it was like when, you know, especially when you have 3 boys, you're like, damn, one of them has to be a baseball player. So that was the sense of it. But I was just like the little different one, more as like my older brother from a young age was independent, because my parents were never really home. They was always working multiple jobs. But I was always the one home. I was the one always on the computer while my brothers were out playing. So it's like that gave me more sense and more time to figure out who I am as a person, because I was always by myself in the house. So I broke the family chain of like being the athletic one, and I went my own route, which is like what a lot of boys fear growing up in the Dominican household, the athletic household. But
kind
luckily,
against
what I want to do. But luckily, my dad was for it, and he said the same way I would do with anything to give it 110%. But like that's what gave me the opportunity to still be free and be able to do what I want to do. Whereas if somebody's less fortunate and they're still trained to do something they don't want to do, like become a baseball player, you got to live by the strict schedule. But everybody was surprised that out of everything, and especially things where like nobody, like at the time I came up with the clothing, I was like 15. You don't hear 15-year-olds like, hey, I want to start a brand. You hear them, you know, something that's not really realistic based on what they're living in at the moment. So that's how I was able to do it. And with being part of, you know, the inner city and seeing all the tragic stuff that we go through all the time, it was something that I know that I could live up to. It wasn't like I was reaching. So that's how we got the name, and I could talk more about that.
That's dope. So it seems like you come from, I would assume, motivated parents. Your father he played baseball his life.
Yeah.
And I would assume like a lot of Spanish mothers is always 2 to 3 jobs.
Yeah.
Or if not 2 to 3, just always a job that's being worked. So I would assume you come from motivated parents.
Yeah.
And you spoke a lot about just your foundation, and I want to touch on what you something that's very important that you spoke on, in my opinion, was you kind of going into your own direction.
Yeah.
And not being the I don't want to say follow up of, you know, like for lack of a better term, I'll just say follow up. And you didn't go the normal route.
Yeah.
Did you receive any kind of I know your parents were supportive, but did you receive any kind of backlash or any kind of, I guess I would say, doubtfulness from anyone else in the family or just around the culture saying that, you know, you're supposed to do this, or why are you doing this? Did you receive anything like that?
No, actually my whole family supported it, in the sense where, like, again, I broke the chain reaction of you're supposed to go to school, be this baseball player, or be an athlete, or do something within that sport. So this was something new to them, whereas like I was basically introducing them to something new, which was clothes. And they come to my house, they see my machines and how I work, and I make my own clothes. So that, like, instead of like, I thank them because they didn't bash me or like talk down. They just literally would call their friends and family and be like, hey, look, my nephew, my son, my cousin, whatever, makes clothes and this, that, and the third. And they would actually get people to buy stuff off me. And they saw that I could have been outside, That's cool. Starting trouble. And instead, they always see me in my house making a sweater. I get hyper, and I show them a design, and they're like, wow, I see the progression. They see like the bulk and all the boxes I bring to the crib. They're like, it makes a mess, but they see that I'm taking it serious. So as long as, you know, they saw the positive route, they supported me 100%. Like, I got my cousins that they buy my shit when it drops, and they don't ask for no discount. They just buy. They be the first ones, and they order it online, and that motivated me. Like, it took a weight off my shoulder, and like my family got my back. Like, I don't have to do this, and they don't have my support. My dad, he supports me a lot. He promotes my shit a lot at his job, and his coworkers be buying the stuff, and they even buy it and to send it to people in other countries. So like, there's people that got my stuff that I don't even know, like in Spain and DR and stuff like that. So
that's dope.
It was easier for me because I had a supportive family and friends.
That's dope. That's dope. Damn, that's fire. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's fire.
Yeah, that's what made me kept going, like, and that's why I had to sit back and relaunch to better my product and my quality, because I felt like I was doing so much. I don't have a team. I do everything myself. I learned how to design.
One man, and I know this for a fact.
Yeah.
One man, he done had people over who was slumped while he was up, doing what he got to do.
4 or 5 in the morning to get ready for a show or something. So like, when people be like, I be wanting to drop as much as I can, but I do literally everything by myself. I fund my products by myself. I design everything. I finalize everything. I sample it by myself. So it's like, yeah, like, I wish I could drop all this, but it's so hard when you don't have a team. And when I try to build a team, when the vision is not for their benefit at the moment, they don't put in the same work and you do, So I don't like working with people where, like, I ask you to do something and I have to, like, micromanage your thing. Like, I want to be able to, like, okay, let me get this time off while you work on that. I'll expect something within 5 hours, but I know you did, like, you put in your effort into it. But it's just some people really just think money in short term goals.
It's real hard, in my opinion, especially today with this generation. I come from an era where I guess help was more normal, and the reason why I say that is because when you speak about music, you always had the producer and artist, or even a DJ and artist. Of course, the ending goal was to be better off in life and provide for your family. But it was always a team effort. Like, we are gonna sit down and do this. We gonna grind. We, and then when that money comes, everybody be good. But nowadays, it's no matter how talented the person is, if whoever you're trying to work with doesn't see any monetary gain that's gonna benefit them, 9 times out of 10 they're gonna turn you down. And if you do keep going and blow up, they'll be,
right there, like, oh, you remember it? Yeah.
So that's something I could definitely relate to.
For sure.
What I was gonna ask, I'll still ask it, but hearing everything you was talking about, just your parents and that foundation, and the support from your father just at his job and things like that. What I was gonna ask, just to kind of dive deeper, have you ever? First, let me start with this. Have you ever dealt with any trauma, if you could categorize it as that, just growing up?
Yeah, growing up, yeah, of course. There's times where, like, trauma, like, people always think, like, killings and stuff, but there was nights where your parents don't got it. You don't know what you're gonna eat. You don't know, like, what, like, when you're young, your parents don't explain to you their financial situation, but you see they're struggling. So I went into, like, traumatic events where, like, my dad was making 6 figures at a point. My mom wasn't working. We were good. And he lost that job. So it was like, damn. I was like about 9, 10, thinking like we were about to go to a shelter, be homeless. So it's like the traumatic event for me was like seeing my mom work 2 jobs and seeing my dad work 3. That's 5 jobs total. And it was just like growing up with my grandmother because they was always at work. So it was like in my grandma's crib, it was 8 of us. All my cousins were in one household because, again, my aunts and uncles, they all worked various jobs. It was a hard time growing up. So, like, traumatic events, like, think about it. Your grandma can't give you your individual attention when she got 7 other people to take care of. So you, as a man, like, they take care more of the females in my family. So, like, as a man, you had to grow up and actually, like, learn shit on your own, go through the mistakes by yourself. Like, there'd be times where you get into the wrong crowd and you get yourself into a bad situation. You got to get yourself out of that. You be scared to tell your mom and your dad you was doing some shit. So it's like traumatic events is just like the shit I used to see in the streets and the people I used to deal with. But luckily, like, it wasn't so severe. Like, once you're in, you're all in. Yeah. But yeah, it was just like every day was like you was just living to see if you could see tomorrow. And
so it kind of just became just the norm.
Just the norm, yeah. Which is crazy how it sounds, but it's like people normalize that. Like you wake up and you don't know, people get shot, like, and it's not even meant for them, but just in your environment where your parents go afford to have you at the moment, that's just what comes with it. You know what I'm saying? So it was just, you know, the whole living in bad neighborhoods, and then we went from a nice crib to a 1-bedroom, 6 people in that one room. So that, of course, how wouldn't that motivate you to, you know, do something for your family or for yourself?
I'm glad you just said that, motivate, because my next question was gonna be, how do you translate that trauma into something positive now versus kind of dealing with it growing up? Like how do you deal with it now versus the way you
deal with it now? Like, I also see, like, growing up, like, people go through those dramatic events, and they do one of the two: they either complain or do something about it. Complaining don't do nothing. So it was like, I've never seen my dad complain about nothing. He always just did something about it. Although it took him some time, though, I would always see him progress. So I was like, all right, let me learn from my dad's mistakes. Let me learn from my parents' mistakes, so that when I get older, I don't go through that. Because it's like, I'm the kid, and, you know, I don't have no money or nothing, and I felt this, so I could only imagine all that weight on my family and my parents. So it was just like, I don't want to go through that. I don't want my family or even my parents to worry about me, and just like financially, like, that's just the problem. Like, everything's good, but just the financial freedom and stuff, that's what I want. I want to be good. I want to take care of, you know, who I can. And it's just like, it's a long-term goal. That's why I started really, really young.
That's dope. That's also just a lot of weight to have on your shoulders.
At a young age,
Yeah, so, and that's also something I could, you know, relate to. Just kind of dealing with taking on a lot of things, even if you necessarily might not have to, but because of the mentality and how we're raised, whoever our parents are, sometimes you just feel like, you know, nah, this is what I'm supposed to do and how I'm supposed to, you know, move through it. Would you say that you ever dealt with depression? And if not depression directly, would you say that you ever dealt with kind of the feelings of, I guess, being insecure, whether it's about you or, you know, just the business that you're into, or being unmotivated, being doubtful of yourself? Feeling like, you know, nothing's gonna work out.
I feel like when you're doing something on your own, if you say you have never felt those emotions, they're lying. In a sense where, like, remember, we don't come from a wealthy family. We don't have people that really, you know, it's people that have lived the same life we live buying from us at the moment. Because, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, there's times where, like, I've dropped things and, like, the shit didn't go as good as I wanted to. And it's not that. It's crazy because a lot of people see it as a, damn, I'm mad because I didn't make the money I wanted to make. I'm like, damn, I put in all this work to make all these items, and this shit did not sell how I expected to sell. But that could have either had me stop or motivated me to do better. So it was like, when you're a one man team, you have to self-reflect and take the constructive criticism and be like, okay, compared to this design that they're really good, what did I do here? Did I rush this? You know, was the promo? Because now there's social media, so, like, was the promo bad? You have to really think about it. And that's the thing, when you start any business, you have to be able to take criticism. Not everybody's gonna like what you put out. So you ask people, you know, what do you think about this after you sample something? And some people are not gonna like it, some people will like it, and you just see what you do with it. So yeah, the depression goes with the, damn, how am I gonna raise money to even drop all of this? And then people be scared to take the risk of, do I really want to sacrifice $600 on this drop? But then they go and buy $600 sneakers. And that's the
I hope y'all listening.
And that's the sacrifices that I made, because after relaunching, I was living on my own. So it's like, I didn't have $600 to spend, but it was either do it and just, because imagine, like, you don't do it, you're gonna always think, damn, what if it really went crazy? What if you're gonna have that? But if you try and you failed, at least you know you tried.
And that right there is what messes a lot of people up.
Sure.
You get so caught up in thinking about it that thinking turns into, damn, what if I would have done that?
Do it.
So yeah,
just do it. And then this was in a way, the pandemic was a blessing and a curse because everything that's going on, but it also gave me more time for me to stick to myself, because before that I was going to school full time, working full time. I didn't really have time to sit down and relax and think about what I actually wanted to do in my business. So within this time, I learned how to use Photoshop. I learned how to use Illustrator. I learned how to do more stuff for my brand to better it. And like I rewrote a whole business plan, and it's just like been working out in my favor. And I know like what I want, and I was able to create an objective that no matter what happens with the brand, it would always be it would always go with the name and what I stand for the brand.
Got you. I want to take a moment just to speak to all of you guys directly. Everything that he just said is exactly what this show, this series is about. Now, Kev might not deal with all of the other aspects, but everything he spoke on is exactly what it takes to kind of keep your mind healthy.
Yeah.
He made the decision for himself. I'm either going to do this and go all the way in, or I'm going to give up.
Yeah, for sure.
He chose to go all the way in and keep going.
Because we're known for failing anyway, so why not just try? You know what I'm
saying? 5 years later, 2020, we're here at yet another release. And I would say this is what, your 4th, 5th successful release?
Since September, yeah.
I
relaunched September of this year.
Since September.
No, of 2019, yeah.
Look at that, since September, and he spoke on, the first time dropping something and not having it doing good, to now people in other countries having it, man. So that's exactly what having a healthy mind is. The separation comes in when you're able to acknowledge and take accountability.
Yeah.
The same way you have some people who just are more talented in one field than someone else. It's the same way if you kind of analyze it from that perspective. He's someone who might not necessarily deal with the extreme doubtfulness, which can turn into feeling depressed and you're feeling sad, and all of those feelings that kind of come with it. Some people have the strength to pull themselves out of it.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean that they have the healthiest mind. They just have a certain mental strength to where they won't need anyone else. And I accommodate people like that. It's very, very few people who are like that in this world. But it's not very few, there's a lot. But there's also a large majority who kind of deal with the depression side and not being able to pick yourself up out of that. So the reason why I want to stop and pause and talk is because I want you guys to take everything that he's saying. Because everything he's saying has a lot to do with that. And as simple as it is, it can come down to a simple decision. It's this right here. I procrastinated for months. For months. I've been talking about doing this for months. Quarantine happened, Corona happened, pandemic happened, and put a hope to everything I wanted to do structure-wise. And after that, it still kept going on. Now, to me, I'm just like, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. And maybe subconsciously, I'm talking about it more and more so I can feel like now I have to, own up. So I'm telling people, yeah, I'm doing this, and that. But it comes down to that simple decision with everything you want to do.
Yeah.
You're either going to do it and go all the way in it, or you're going to give up and just deal with a whole bunch of what ifs and figure out an easier way for you to get wherever it is you trying to go, or just be comfortable in life, man. So I wanted to point that out. Real powerful thing. Now what I want to do is to just to get a little bit closer and closer to the clothing line. You spoke about the childhood foundation, your parents. You come from a hardworking family. Father super supportive, mom super supportive, cousins super supportive. We talked about the doubtfulness and just navigating through all of that. What was the motivation for DEFINE Ghetto, and why clothing?
Okay, so like the motivation for DEFINE Ghetto, it was like a lot of people don't know why I started or how I started it. So I'll explain with that. So there's just times like where I'm from in South Bronx, everybody's about their clothes. Everybody has the fancy cars and the clothes, but the clothes is the first impression. So it's like a lot of people get judged off what they're wearing, whether you're a sneakerhead and you judge people off what sneakers they got. Mine was the clothes, and I knew like I had a sense of style in a way where like I had this vision, but I wanted to be on something where people could wear it. In a sense, some people use fashion to express themselves and how they're feeling that day. So there's times where like I have these visuals, and this was at the time where I didn't know about no Photoshop. I didn't know how to use nothing. I just had it, and I would draw it on a sketchbook. And then I would keep it so that I was like, okay, once I know how to use these programs or know somebody who could convert it, it'll come to life. And that's what was happening. And the way the brand started was, something told me like I was different. Like I didn't want to be a baseball player. Like I like it as a hobby, but I didn't want that to be a career choice. And that was just me. And it took me a while for the simple fact that I was afraid of what my dad would think of me, not going with his dreams of me being a baseball player, because now his chances would decrease. Like, oh, now there's only 2 playing baseball. But he was never mad, and he was always like, wow, that's interesting. Like clothes, like, it's just, no little Dominican kid really be saying like they want to make clothes.
Dope, man. That's dope, because I done heard so many stories of Dominican kids, Puerto Rican kids, black people that wanted to do something quote unquote out of the norm.
Yeah.
But it was the opposite.
And they get shitted on.
Yeah.
And I seen it for myself, and then that's where it starts. Because if I feel like personally as well, if my parents did not support me and they bashed me and they laughed at me and mocked me, like I probably wouldn't have even felt motivated. And that brings in the doubt. But with that support, it also motivated me to come up with the name. And people was like, yo, how you came up with that name? But I knew from the beginning when I had my first business plan, like I was like 14, 15, I knew that the word ghetto had to be in my name. But I didn't want it to just leave it at ghetto. So as time was going on, I'm in, at 15, 16, I was in high school. So everybody's like, how they use that term, oh, that's ghetto, that's ghetto. But it's like, ghetto is a place, it's not your actions. So it's like, it's all negative shit. So I was like, you know what, Define Ghetto is the name. And that's how I came up with the name, because it was like all the negative aspects. And it's like, damn, why you blaming us? Like, other people do that shit too that don't live in the ghetto. So it was like, all right. Like, and that's why I wrote this little poem where it says, they call it vandalism, we call it art. And it was just like, huh? No. It was just something I wrote. I'm working on something for it, but I wanted, like, I'm a perfectionist, and remember, I do everything alone, so I need like the right people to work with. But it's something I wrote 2-3 years ago, and I got on my phone.
We might have to talk off camera.
Yeah, we could do that. But it was just like, there is positives. Remember, hip hop was made in the ghetto. Breakdancing, ghetto. And then you got America's Best Talent. You got these awards. That shit came in the, where I'm from, in the Bronx. So it was easy for me to relate to, in the sense where like, damn, how the hell you only see bad stuff in places where you come from?
They call it urban. That's
they call it urban. That's white people shit. Nah, we from the ghetto. Yeah, the urban community. Like, the ghetto's the ghetto. Whatever, it is what it is. And like, people lack the knowledge of history, like why we are where we at. Like, remember, it was at a point where we were doing so bad, landlords were burning their own buildings for insurance money. A lot of people don't know that.
If you know about the Bronx, then you
know about that. Shit looked crazy. It looked like how, So it was like a lot of, I also was not ignorant. I did my research on the history, because I didn't want to release, and misinform my people. Because remember, I got wording on my clothes. Yeah. So it's like, you don't want to put something, then it's like, what are you talking about? So before I drop anything, I do my research, and I get inspired by other stuff. But I don't copy other people. I get influenced by other people, and I was like, okay, that's a nice design, but let me do it my way. And that's just how it is, and that's how I came up with the name. It was easy for me after that.
That's dope, man. I gotta hear the poem. That's dope.
I got you.
I gotta hear the poem. Damn, that's dope. So your first business plan was at 14, 15.
Yeah.
Do you remember like the actual business plan?
Of course, yeah. I wrote it down on a Word doc, which I don't have access to no more. But I knew, like, the objective is still the same. The fashionable thing. So it was just more like, I knew where I wanted to go. I just didn't know how to get there, because I was 14, 15. I didn't know no graphic designer. I didn't know like the fashion industry. And remember, this is a competitive industry to work in. So I knew from a jump that the best way to go about it is that I don't want this to be a Louis Vuitton. I don't want this to be a Gucci. I want this to be a high-end streetwear where like you could wear every day but feel good because the fabric is nice, and in that sense. and people would compare it with like brands like Stone Island. Like I wanted to be like known like a Stone Island and stuff like that. Like that's what influenced me to do certain colorways because brands that I wear. And
let's touch on that a little bit. What are some of your influences, whether it's other clothing brands or a certain artist, or even if it's just the environment, the way you spoke about, you know, just being in the Bronx and, you know, talking about the buildings being burned, even outside my area. You know, a lot of things are being built. So touch on that as far as influences.
Influences. A lot of it has to do with music, and like think about it. These rappers or people in the hip hop industry, music industry, their presence is valued in a sense where like you always want to have competition. Like who dresses better, and then you want to know the brands, and then you find out the brands, and it's like little low-key brands that nobody really know about it, but they put it nicely together. So in that sense, like I like how we can convert like these brands where it's all white people modeling on the website, but when we put it on with our little taste to it, it's like, damn, I need that, and everybody has that. So like growing up, I liked Montclair, I liked Stone Island. A lot of people still don't know about Stone Island.
I have no idea.
You don't know what that is? Stone Island is my shit. What else? There's a lot. Like I remember when Kenzo was popular. That's basic streetwear, but everybody liked it.
I just got put on the Kenzo probably like last year.
Really? And that came out. That started getting popular like in 2011, 2012. And then you'd have the like regular high school outfit. Ralph Lauren. He's from the Bronx. A lot of people forget that too.
I didn't know that.
You didn't know that? Yeah, he's from the Bronx. I don't
think I ever even tried to like do any type of research on Ralph Lauren.
Really? Yeah, he's from the Bronx.
Listen, when it comes to fashion, and they know this, I'm an accidental fly. I'm an accidental fly.
It really be like that.
I'll put something together, and everybody around me like, "Oh, word," and I'm just like, "Bro, I had no idea." So a lot of these brands, I don't be knowing the name of it. Half the time, I don't know what I'm wearing. It just be accidental, but that's dope, man.
And a lot of for real, because you know he got BBC Billionaire Boys Club. But then he got Ice Cream, and then he has I think it's called Colors, something like that. It's just, that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to have DEFINE GHETTO and then the subcategory brand.
So have DEFINE GHETTO essentially be like the umbrella.
Yeah. And then that would be like my BBC. And then you see how you have Ice Cream. That would be like, you know it's me, and you know it's the same kind of clothes, but it's like a different
branch off.
Yeah.
That's fire, man. Before you know we get out of here, last thing I want you to touch on, and it'll also, you know, allow you to speak even more in depth, just not just having a clothing line, but just kind of the day-to-day and everything that it takes. You spoke on briefly earlier about just you being a one-man team and doing everything yourself. And like I said in the intro, he's the founder, creator, creative director, graphic designer, like print shop, everything. What kind of, from your perspective, what kind of mental strength does that take to really? It's one thing to have an idea and you want to do it. It's another thing to have an idea and you have 3 to 4 people that can help facilitate and contribute everything you want to do with that idea. But it's a whole other ball game when it's literally you from point A to point Z and everything in between.
That's true.
So speak on just the mental strength, because I know me with just shameless plug, they fired us. I do have a podcast link down below. Just with editing footage or even sitting down to come up with outlines and topics for different guests or just things that I want to talk about and figuring all of that. For me, that could sometimes be a little overwhelming and slightly draining. So I know it has to be maybe 10 times for you because, like I said, you do everything, the graphics, print. I'm pretty sure you go and find the materials,
test materials and stuff.
So like, you know, touch on the mental strength just to kind of
like over time since 2015, I learned a lot because I went into like making my own brand with a fresh mind. I knew nothing about sampling clothes, sampling material. I didn't know like what spots to go to get what. Like it was just crazy. But you do your research. One thing that a lot of people in this industry are afraid to do that I suggest you should just do, ask somebody who does it questions. The least that has happened to me that people do, they just leave me on scene. They don't answer my question. They just leave me a name. But that's cool because I know somebody else who make clothes. You know what I'm saying? And then they will be literally willingly to answer any question you have. But then as I got to where I am now, there's just some questions that people ask that you'd be like, damn, you're really just trying to cheat the whole blueprint. You want to know where I get this and where I got that. I used to ask questions like, hey, like, how many shirts did you start off with? You know, what kind of, you know, not where do you get this or who's your plug for that? It's just like, damn, I work too hard to just be telling you that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So the mental capacity when you by yourself is you have to stop and think. You cannot rush the process because then it will be a waste of money. It will be a waste of time and it'll just be a waste of everything. So I learned that over time because I was young and I was 15, 16 and, I just thought, shit, let me get the cheapest shirt with the best graphics and it'll sell. But that customer feedback be horrible. You know what I'm saying? So then when that happens, you start in a sense losing money because they don't come back. So you know what I'm saying? So in that sense where like when you're by yourself, you have to think, okay, it's not just about the design. The design could be cool, but the material has to match it too. Everything has to match it. The website has to match it. It has to be great on all corners. So when you're doing it by yourself, you have to learn how to design a website, know what material you're using, know your audience in a sense like who really purchases your stuff and what they like and what they don't like. And then you just need a lot of patience and a lot of sampling. When it comes to samples, when I make my first physical sample, the first people I ask are, as crazy as it sounds, I never send pictures. I rarely send pictures. I ask for people to see in person because one is like leaking a song. I don't like when people leak my ideas or like post out like, oh, my cousin did this sweater, and then somebody sees it and it's like, oh shit, let me do it because I know he didn't drop yet. Nobody knows when he's gonna drop, but I'm gonna rush it. It's like a blueprint. And then people be like, fuck it, I'm gonna do it. And then also like things look different in person than when they're doing pictures. So I want like your honest feedback. I don't, you know, with a text message, you could be like, damn, this shit ugly, but let me tell them it's fire. I want to see your first reaction. Like you could be honest, and that's a lot of things. You have to take a lot of criticism. You have to put in the work because I'm not wealthy. You feel me? I still was working regular jobs and going to school, so you have to make time for it. The time you could have 30 plain hoodies, they're not gonna be done by themselves. So you have to have like open mind. When you do this, it's basically like everybody's different. My would be like I would make this time. I have nothing on my mind. Whatever happened to me earlier, bad or good, I'm not thinking about it. And you want to see like, damn, this went from an idea in my head to a physical thing and people like it and they're buying it. That's what motivates me to keep, going. And you just need like a clear space. This was, you know how some people play baseball, some people play basketball, they feel good. I like to design stuff and, play around with stuff. And that's just my like hobby and my way to think. Like, say if I'm frustrated right now, I'll be like, fuck it, let me design a hoodie. And that's just my thing. That's how I take it at. And then I feel free because I'm expressing it and I don't have a boss to tell me, oh, that design is not approved. Fuck it, I like it. These people like it. I'm dropping it. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, not everybody's going to like it, but that's cool because then that's when you come up with a creative design for something else. It can't really be the same thing. People get tired of it.
That's actually the last thing that I want to touch on. I want to ask. When it comes to that, how do you deal with that? Well, I'm gonna disguise it as. I'm gonna say doubtfulness, just for lack of a better term.
Yeah, that always happens.
But what I really mean is, how do you navigate with creating something? Yeah, you create it. It's what you like. But how do you kind of go about it when the essential plan is for other people to love it?
Yeah, and that's where you got to get out your comfort zone. Because there's designs that I've released, I'm not going to say which ones, where I don't like. But the people like it. Yeah.
You like this one, right?
Oh, yeah. Now, this one I like. This one I was really excited about. I designed it from the beginning to the end, and I haven't heard, one bad thing. But it's just my thing. But remember, if I was to rush it, this little logo would have been across the chest mad big. That was my first thing. Then somebody who I trust, when I sent her something, she was like, nah, that's kind of tacky. Do it small on the side. Damn, and then I sent that preview to other people. They're like, whoa, that looks way much better. And you got to thank people like that. You be like, yo, thank you. Everybody liked it. And the thing is, you gotta take care of people that take care of you. So it's like when I'm printing this hoodie, I made sure, shit, let me order her one, put it to the side. So when I see her, here's that hoodie. And you know, you want to give people that credit. A lot of people in this industry don't give other people credit. It's okay to be influenced by somebody else. It's another thing to copy somebody else. And that's the thing. So with that, you just gotta get out your comfort zone. You may not like a design, or you may mistakenly design something because, say, like your program is acting up, but you just start sampling it, and it's okay to. Your first design is not gonna be the best. You change it up until it's perfected. I changed these colors about 7-8 times. I have all the files on my computer, and this was the colorway that attracted everybody. Remember, dope. This was all one color, and now this is brown with the red and the orange and thing.
Get a little closer.
I got you. This a little closer right here.
There you go.
This took me 7 tries at least, and then it's like. You know, and then with fonts too. Like this is like hard to read in a sense sometimes, but I feel like it's more like New Yorkish. Yeah, in a sense, it has attitude, it has demeanor. Where if somebody did Times New Roman, it's just like what? Nah. So no, it's like you have to have the mental capacity to do different things and get out your comfort zone and do it for people that you know. That's why I say you gotta learn who buys from you to see what they like.
That's dope, man. Listen, I don't want to keep the brother here for too long. My main goal was not only for you guys to learn about him, learn about Kevin the person, before you learn about Kevin the entrepreneur and the business owner. Do not forget I always fuck my outro out. Do not forget, everything will be down below. But before, just give them the website one more time.
So yeah, everything that I released right now will be at DefineGhettoNYC.com. These hoodies, if you catch them on time, if there's any left over. And I got my hats there, and I'm gonna be dropping something within the next month or two. Fuck it, I'm gonna just let them know it's gonna be the matching shorts to these hoodies. Woo! But it'll be with just
with the white ones too?
Yeah, it'll just be with the smiley face though, big
that's
smiley face embroidery. There you go.
The hoodie.
And I'm working on that, but right now, I've been in the process with it, but I'm in the process of getting the right shorts because I've never bought shorts for it. And I want it to be, since it's a hot summer, nice and thin, like, you know, I don't want to do the cotton, it's too hot for that. So I'm in that stage of designing the shorts to these hoodies.
That's dope, man. Whoa, hold on, that's dope, son. I just got my first, I appreciate you, bro. Just got my first exclusive on the show right here.
Nobody knew about that.
Appreciate that, my first exclusive, man.
But don't hold me on the date. It's gonna come soon, but it's gonna be it's still summer.
Make sure you follow
official DefineGhettoNYC at Gmail, and then the website is DefineGhettoNYC.com, and Instagram is DefineGhettoNYC.
Everything will be down below in the description box. Make sure you go straight to his website. Follow him on Instagram. Yep. Keep in touch. You keep following the journey. Like he said, he has the sweatpants is gonna be a follow up to the hoodies. He has some hats that's available as well.
Yeah,
right?
For sure. Yeah.
Everything's gonna be available there. Once again, my main goal with this particular series is to teach you guys different ways to create not only a healthier space, but just a healthy mind. Period. Everything he spoke on. Hopefully you can take away the right things, whether it's on the mental strength that you need to not only just create, but really just conquer. Because if you heard his story, he went a different route from what his parents had planned for him.
Yeah, for sure.
And he's doing very well. The support is there, the drive and the motivation is there. So I'll leave you guys. The last thing I want to say is, man, really think about different things that you can do to just to kind of create a... Matter of fact, I'll ask you the question before I get out of here.
Yeah, what's up?
What's one thing that you could say that you do to kind of make sure you have a good day? Make sure you in a...
Every day I wake up early. I try to wake up early while a lot of people are sleeping. And that's like time, especially when you live with other people, where you have your alone time. So you want to not plan your day in a sense for like emotion-wise, but you just want to be organized. So I try to have an organized day. I try to... be like, okay, I have from this time to this time, I'm gonna get this done. And I know once I complete it at a certain time or even before, I feel good. Also, I started reading. So That's my thing. And also, like, it was the book you recommended, 50 Cent's book.
That's
And I haven't stopped reading that since I started it. So it's like reading, growing up is like something I never saw myself doing, but you educate yourself more through reading. So reading, I do a lot more now, and multiple books. So wake up early, drink a lot of water, and I would say read. And enjoy the outside, like people, you know, especially with everything going on. But when it's hot outside, do like a little exercise, something, even if it's half an hour. Take care of your body, because you spend so much time on a desk, designing and doing all that. You want to, you know, still have time and chill with your friends and family too, because that's important too. You got to balance it.
Facts. Well, you heard it here from the man himself. One of his personal recommendations is wake up early, educate yourself. If you feel like you just don't want to get into that space, go outside, get some fresh air, get a workout in. Really start doing the necessary work to create that healthy space. Of course, every episode coming up, we'll speak more and more and get really deep into the nitty-gritty of that. But for now, hope you got to know this young man a little better. Go to the website, support the clothing line, support everybody just trying to make a way for themselves. And do remember, I am Desmond Bonet. His name is Kevin Alejo. Black Lives Matter.
Yeah, for sure.